Hi there, traders. I have a question what I get a lot, what is how many confirmations did I need to take a trade? So, for example, let's talk about my Friday trade, the same Bitcoin trade what I was talking about in the Friday YouTube video. So let's zoom in. The first thing what we have to understand is I'm very deep thinker. Like I'm thinking very deeply about trading and the trading mindset and how I'm taking those trades. So let's zoom in. So the first of all, that's for me was the most important part, but a little bit the journey behind it. What was behind my mind, because we actually we break the lows. We break the lows. We break the lows here, and we break the lows here, and now this movement was breaking the major lows. So when we break the major lows, we can have pullback movements. That's the first thing what is in my head. So when we have this structure here, we create this level. So the momentum of that level is going higher, and the principle of that level is break, retest, and going higher. And now we have this structure down here. This level is same, and the supporting thing is to support those principles. We have two W patterns here. Second W pattern, and the zone principle is to break, retest, and going back this zone to have this principle next. We have to go back that zone to have this principle next. But what was happening here? We see right now, that's the strong rejection. Oh, and the first thing is when we're gonna grab this original rejection low here, and the same thing is gonna be here, the original rejection low. So now we see how this impulse candlestick actually close under the zone and under the original rejection low. So what was happening here now? When we look this pattern, so the mid zone what we have inside this pattern is this one. So, and the principle of that pattern is, let's gonna bring this one here. So the principle of that pattern is to break, retest, and going back that zone. Same principle is the opposite of that pattern too. Go back this zone. And what was supporting that principle was this one here, because that was our first try and we failed pretty miserably. And the second time was when we have this W pattern here, and this the idea and the opportunity was that W pattern to actually break above it, retest, and going higher. But in that case, we just pomake, when we have this impulse candlestick, and if you look how this impulse candlestick is close, it close under all this structure, all this energy movement what we have upsides, we close under, we have to retest, and we start making the principle, respecting the principle. So now what we see, the price is price is breaking lower, price is breaking lower, price is breaking lower, price is breaking lower, price is breaking lower again, and now price is breaking lower again. Now we break this same rejection lows what we have, and now we break all this, we have this huge zone here, and we break these major lows. Same thing what was happening here when we break this structure. When we break this major lows here, we're gonna have the pullback movement. The same thing was here. I was waiting the pullback movement. The other thing is if you actually zoom in like this structure here, so between that structure we have the equilibrium points. And now when you see how the market structure was actually breaking the lows and we break the equilibrium points, I was using just for looking another information. So I'm gonna use so the top what I'm using to bring my Fibonacci is the pattern breaking structure. So we break this pattern, and that was the candlestick, and that was the first high what we make when we break this pattern. And the bottom what I'm using is the breaking lows. So this low was breaking that low, and now if we're gonna bring this one here, we see the 618 rejection like absolutely beautifully. And where is our take profit? Take profit is exactly the same place where we have this, you know, breaking structure. We break this major low here, and at the same time we hit the take profit of this Fibonacci movement. So we're breaking the lows, major lows, and we hit take profits. So I'm gonna, like, the first thing in my head is gonna be pullback movement, because you know the energy is shifting there. So we have this one, and the second thing is we create this mid zone here. So between this major zone and this major zone we have this mid zone here. And if I'm gonna bring this mid zone here, so what we see after this breaking structure, we don't have the retests, but now this pullback was actually making the retest here. So we was, you know, respecting the principle, you know, another confirmation for me. So the second, and another thing was this trend line here, and that's actually a huge point. This was, you know, after that point I was, you know, very interesting about selling, because so we have opportunity to go higher here, but we fail. So what is the you know, the principle of that? This trend line principle is to break higher, retest, and going higher. So what was happening here? We actually have nice break, we have nice retest, but after the retest we didn't break any more higher, we actually break lower, and now we have the most important thing here, the same W pattern with failing structural downsides. And if you look in those two W patterns right now, what was happening after that W? We have strong impulse movement downsides with very high, you know, we break all those lows, we break that low, and we break that low. And what was happening after that W movement? We break the major lows, you know, we break all pattern here, you know, same emotion inside here, and that was my trades. I was using the same thing, the same breaking structure high, and now I was using that low when we break this rejection lows and the structure lows, and I was using that low, and I was waiting back to the 618 retest, because the retests and this zone here, the mid zone, we didn't have the retest, we have the breaking structure, but we didn't have the retest and the 618, and that this zone, like, they are super closely, so I was pretty confident of that trade. And entry was here, stop loss 20% above 886, and this was my take profit here, and this was my trade, and this was the journey to take that trade. So like I said, I'm thinking very deeply everything what I'm doing behind that computer screen, but you know, all those display, you know, all this is actually what's happening in my head. I don't have to do like on the, like, for me maybe I will use this one here. I will use maybe this trend line here, looks solid, and I'm gonna use this box here, and this is everything what I'm seeing, you know, what I'm doing in this chart. and that was my trade, you know. But if you're going back now, this is what is happening in my mindset, you know, with, you know, all this is what I'm seeing if I'm just looking the clear picture like that. That what is happening, because the muscle memory, you know, because I've been training that like a lot, like I've been doing so many pack testing and so much stuff, what is necessary to do to develop winning trading mindset. It looks hard job, and it is, but it's getting smoother after the years and years. It's getting much smoother, and that's the really truth about the trading mindset. Because you have to be like, you don't want to do the stupid trades here, you know. You cannot do it, you know. You cannot react because of that something movement, you know. You need information because you have your thoughts, so you have to support those thoughts somehow. Because in that case, what we have two opportunities to go long, and we fail both opportunities strongly. The first one, a huge moment downside. The second time, huge moment downside, with breaking all those structures. But now you have to actually zoom in and follow the story, because you have to feel the emotion of the market. Because previously, when we break the major lows here, so we have to pull back, and now we break the major lows again, we have to pull back. You know, it's, you know, every single one will understand when you don't give up and you actually want to be a trader. Every single one will be understanding in the future what I was telling here. But if you're a beginner, how many information there is to actually support my long short here? Like, there is a loads. But normally, after the 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8 are my mostly 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are my most confirmation what I'm looking for. Sometimes I'm seeing 11, sometimes I'm seeing 8, sometimes I'm seeing 4. But if those 4 are strong ones, I'm interested. But let's say those 4 are kind of like 2 is like something and 2 is like good, I'm not interested to take that trade, because come on, you understand. But here it is. I think there is like, I don't know, 20 information right now to take that trade, to be honest. But that's the real thinking, you know. That's what I was thinking on Friday. Like, I was like, yep, let's wait the pullback, and this retest here, the mid-zone retest. So it's kind of perfect. Yeah. So I'm gonna see you every single one tomorrow, and ciao.